Yep, it's working. First things first, everything has been sanitized with that Star San solution. Now, this is a no rinse solution. I usually make a gallon or so, keep it in 2 liter bottles, and a handy tip is to keep a spray bottle around for those on the fly sanitizing needs. It comes in very handy. I have ripe bananas here. Now, these bananas get ripe because of a gas that they produce called ethene. Now, this breaks down cell walls and turns starches into sugars. And you can actually buy these bananas already ripened from the grocery store at usually a discount. So that's what I did. I have 3.9 pounds of bananas here that I'm going to cut up. Now, why am I using 3.9 pounds? Because that's what I bought. A lot of people tend to, well, how much fruit should I use? Or how much of this? Or just go with it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to put all these bananas into a brew bag. Now, this is not necessary, but it really helps during cleanup. I find that using a brew bag really makes things a lot cleaner after primary fermentation. Nutrients. Okay, now we're going to talk about nutrients in bananas and banana peels. I'm not worried about adding nutrients to this brew. It has potassium, vitamin C, calcium, iron, vitamin A. The peels actually have polyphenols and carotenoids and other antioxidants in it. And it's around 14 grams or more sugar. So these really pack a punch. And they also have B6, B12, and magnesium. So like I said, I'm not going to add nutrients to this batch. And you want nutrients to help with the yeast. They need their food too, you know. So I'm going to cut up the rest of these bananas and get these in my bag so I can end up making my banana tea. And here we go. You want to talk about sticky. So I'm going to use a gallon of water plus a 16.9 ounce bottle of water. Now, I want more than a gallon in my at the end of my brew, so that's why I'm using a 16.9 ounce bottle of water. Once it ferments, there'll be a cake at the bottom of about an inch, 2 inch of a thing called lees. Now, this is all the leftover junk that the yeast spit out and leave at the bottom of your brew. So let's tie this bag up and get our tea going. I'm going to use a simple potato masher and just mash these up and watch that clear water go to what looks like creek water. Now, this is normal. The color will definitely change and clear up. I'm going to bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for about 30 minutes. And then, of course, we'll let it come down in temperature. Our must has come down in temperature. Let's check it out. It's about 112, so I'm good with that. What I'm going to do now is take the bag out, and I'm going to add about 3 pounds of light brown sugar. I kind of want the sweet. I don't want to have to back sweeten it. And I'm shooting for a 110, 1.120 gravity, starting gravity. Always take a gravity reading. And here I have 3 ounces of golden raisins. Now, I like the golden raisins. I like these better than the darker raisins. Seems like they're sweeter, and I just like the taste. These are by no means for nutrients. This must would have plenty of nutrients just in the banana peels. Tie this up with our peels, bananas, and raisins now. So here's my light brown sugar. 3 pounds of light brown sugar. And while this water or must is still warm, this light brown sugar will dissolve very easily. And I'm going to be using the Brew Demon fermenter that you see in the sink. Now at this point, I don't mind adding oxygen to the must. You want that pre-fermentation. You want to add as much oxygen as you can. Now once fermentation starts and is about 5 days into it, you don't want to add oxygen. This is pectic enzyme. Use 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. Now, pectic enzyme extracts flavor and color from the fruit, and it also helps with clearing. Again, this is not necessary. When I started out brewing, I ended up buying this, tannins, Camden tablets, but came to find out that you don't need these things to make a good brew. Now, of course, do your research before you add anything to your brew and make your own decisions. Stir it up really well, incorporate more oxygen, get the sugar incorporated, and again, at the beginning of fermentation, you want as much oxygen as you can get to help with the yeast. And here we are, 1.120. Now, if this goes all the way to 1.00, we'll have 15.75 ABV. And handy tip number 2, make sure this is off. Now to put everything together, I'm going to put my brew bag in my fermenter with all my lovely banana offerings, the rest of my banana tea, and my SG gravity reading tea. I'm not worried about cross-contamination. Everything has been sanitized. Again, everything has been sanitized. Now this is where it comes in handy. The spray bottle. I realized the ladle wasn't going to be enough or fast enough to do the job I wanted, so I grabbed a cup, sanitized it real quick, and started the process again. And I promise it's not going to look like this when it's finished. So I'm going to pour the rest of my tea in. And here we have it. I'm going to let this sit and let the pectic enzyme sit for about 12, 13 hours so it doesn't have any effect on my yeast. Now the yeast I'm using, 71B. About 8 months ago, I went through a 71B phase and I bought tons of it. Now you only need 1 gram per gallon. I'm just going to use the whole pack. And if you notice, I'm not going to rehydrate it. I really haven't been able to see a difference. Try it both ways and see what you think. Stir this up really well. And again, I'm not worried about adding oxygen to the must at this point. The yeast need the oxygen. And this set, like I said, for 12, 13 hours. So we're probably sitting on about 72, 74 degrees. Cap that off, put my airlock in, and let it do its thing. Remember to label your brews. I usually like to label what it is, the SG, and the date. And fermentation has started. Those yeast are eating the sugars, causing those bubbles to create carbon dioxide, and we're making alcohol now. Now the 71B has a tolerance of 14%, but yeast don't know the difference. It could go to 15, 16, it could go to 12, 13, who knows. That's why we take gravity readings to see how our brew is progressing or to see what we need to do to it. And 71B, again, has a potential of 14% ABV. I have a potential of 15.75% must, so I should be left over with a little sweetness, hopefully. Be good to one another and tell somebody you love them. And if you want to help me out with my mythical mead and honey madness, I'll leave a link down in the description. Thanks for watching, guys.